Hey, Gary here with you, back at it today, day 89. We're going to be looking inside of Google Search Console, talking about these pages that aren't indexed, and we're going to focus again on crawled, currently not indexed, to look at another example. So you can see we have 10 pages currently not crawled, or that have been crawled but not indexed. The one we're going to look at today is this one right here, how to get an asteroid named after you. So the first thing we want to do is simply just click here to open in a new tab and take a look at the post to see what we have. We have a title, we have our H1 here, which is our keyword, which is also the URL. I'll bring this down. You can see the URL, how to get an asteroid named after you, is actually our H1. It's also in our title. Now, whether or not this needs to be like this is just the way that sort of Groove is laid out. This might look different if you're in Wix, Squarespace, or any other website builder or WordPress, also depending on your theme. But the point here is to have the H1 as the keyword that we're going after, and also to have it in the title. And then here, add a little extra oomph, if you will, to hopefully make it more appealing to get people to click. So that's what we've done there, and that's okay at this point. The article might be a little thin as we read through it, and the first issue here is observe and report a new celestial object is the backlink or the internal link, and it actually links to the post Amazing Barred Spiral Galaxy Facts You Need to Know, which is not a relevant link. So I didn't do a very good job when I was editing that, or I think this might have been, not to push the blame on our chat buddy or our AI assistant, but I think this was one of the ones that I came up with in the backlinking attempts that we've used and we've tried here multiple times using ChatGPT, and we saw that it gets lost along the way, especially if we try to do bulk actions with those backlinks with multiple links, multiple posts. But we have had some better luck when we do individual posts and look for individual links for these rich anchor text examples, or for these interlinkings that we want to do using the best rich anchor text that we can come up with that is relevant to the post on the other side, which that one just absolutely isn't. So we'll go ahead and we will remove that. And then we'll take a look at what ChatGPT tells us about the rest of the article. And then we will manually find a better way to link or do interlinking. But again, as I scroll through here, you can see that the content is kind of thin. So most definitely that will probably be the focus, or that will definitely be my focus. But let's take a look and see what ChatGPT does for us. Here you can see we're in ChatGPT 4. We have Brainwork as well as Web Pilot enabled. And we just started off with the input or the task at hand between us and our AI assistant. Our chat buddy hopefully is in the mood to help us make this post. And then I put the URL better for this keyword, the keyword how to get an asteroid named after you. Please provide step-by-step instructions for this, and then let's get started. We went ahead and used the Brainwork plugin to do an SEO analysis, and you can see it came back with 4 things. And it said, let's start by addressing these issues. Would you like me to generate a new meta description and includes the keyword and is of the correct length? I went ahead and said, yes, please. And then you can see its response, discovering the fascinating process of how to get an asteroid named after you. Now inside of Grooveblog, when you go in to edit the post where we'll be cleaning this up or adding new content and fixing that terrible rich anchor text to that internal link, you can see I've entered the excerpt that I did way before we started this, or when it first got crawled but didn't get indexed, or maybe got indexed and then fell out. And my excerpt is discover how to get an asteroid named after you, which is the keyword that we're going for, how to get an asteroid named after you. And if you go to the post and then you view the source, this is that duplicate meta property issue or meta description. So you can see here the meta description shows up, discover how to get an asteroid named after you. But then there's a second meta description down here that is the default meta description that we saw back in the previous episode when we were looking at that duplicate, or we were looking at duplicate meta descriptions based upon when we were using SEMrush to look at SEO issues. So that's definitely an issue, but I can't fix that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide more input based upon where we are now, based upon the information that Brainwork gave us. So ChatGPT and Brainwork gave us good information about that. It's definitely an issue, the duplicate tag, and the fact that Brainwork pulled the tag that's been added for the default as the overall default tag for the site and not the meta description or the excerpt that we put in. So that's not going to fix the issue. So I moved on and said, okay, great, thanks. But let's back up and let me give you some more details on what I meant by make this post better for the keyword. Currently, this post is crawled, currently not indexed by or in Google Search Console, and I want to get it indexed. Please make the recommendations on how to achieve that goal. I see your goal is to get the post indexed by Google. Here are some steps you can take to improve the chances of your post being indexed. Now, it doesn't necessarily address the fact of the issue of crawled, currently not indexed, because it goes through here and it mentions just getting crawled, but we have already been crawled. We just didn't get indexed. And you can see each one of these: improve SEO, submit the URL to Google, create a sitemap, improve site speed, get backlinks, share on social media, update content regularly. Remember, even after taking these steps, it can take some time for your post to be indexed. Google has to crawl billions of pages, so it can take anywhere from a few days to a few weeks for your post to be indexed. 1000% agree with everything it said there, but I want to go back and I want to dig into this idea of just making the content better by comparing the content to the competition that ranks for the keyword and adding new content that might be missing compared to what they have included. So now you can see it's using Brainwork, WebPilot, and Brainwork, and then it gives us information here or the things that we can add more real life examples, include more visual content, add an FAQ section, update your content regularly, and promote user engagement. That's about sharing or getting the word out about your new post to get people to click on it, to go over, so Google sees that as a positive signal. And then it goes into, remember, the goal is not just to have more content, but to have better content. Quality is key when it comes to SEO and ranking on search engines. As for getting the page indexed by Google, the steps I mentioned earlier, improving SEO, all those steps are important. And then it says here, please note that while these steps can improve the chances of your page being indexed, it's ultimately up to Google's algorithm to decide when and if to index the page. It can take some time, so be patient and keep improving your content. So to keep improving my content, this one jumped out at me because we've been doing this a lot lately, using the Google or using the frequently asked questions section based on the Google people also ask. So using that information to build these FAQ sections. So I went ahead and asked our AI assistant. I said, hey, chat buddy, that's great information. Let's start with number 3. Please create a frequently asked questions section using the top 5 Google people also ask questions to create the FAQ that I will add into the post. Here you can see that it has created that for me. So I'm simply going to copy that, go back into Grooveblog, and then go down towards the bottom before the conclusion. And I am simply going to paste that in. Then I'm going to edit that. Obviously, I'm not going to leave this based on people also ask. I'm going to change this to frequently asked questions. That will be in H2. Then you can see here, it still doesn't understand the markup here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bold these. Actually, I'm going to make these H3s and I'll bold them as H3s. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to edit this. So now we've added this new section with this additional content that I think will improve the post. The next thing that we are going to do while we're here to make this post better, in my opinion, is we are going to remove this backlink because it honestly just doesn't make any sense. So we will remove that. And let me see, how can I remove the backlink? Why will this just not remove? So what we'll do is we will copy this and I'll delete that. And then what I'll do is I'll just add the text back in and make sure this means that you need to be the first person to observe and report a new celestial object that meets the criteria of being a relatively small body orbiting the sun. We can see that that reads correctly. So we'll go ahead and publish that. So now we've taken out that backlink and we have added our FAQ. The next thing that we want to look at is we want to look at a good place to actually add a backlink. And I think this section about how to get an asteroid named after you, which is the actual keyword, it's the reason people are searching, is a good place to look for a link to additional information about how to go about finding an asteroid, because that's what you have to do. You have to first find an asteroid to get it named after you. So we'll go ahead and we'll say here, discovering a new asteroid. And then the first step to get an asteroid is named after you discover a new asteroid. Then it talks about professional astronomers using observatories and the Hubble telescope are the ones that are most likely to discover a new asteroid But there's a sentence here, and I'm going to carriage return this. However, amateur astronomers can also make new discoveries. And here's where I want to link to our post on the basics or understanding the beginnings of how to become a amateur astronomer or how to get started in astronomy. And to do that, I'm going to link to our Astronomy for Beginners, your essential guide to stargazing and exploration. I'm simply just going to copy this URL right here, take it back over here. I'm not going to include the however, I'm just going to include amateur astronomers can also make new discoveries. And this is an internal link, so we're just going to have that open. We're not going to toggle the new tab, and we're going to select save. So we're going to save that. So now we have added this new internal link that I think makes more sense, as well as the FAQ section with the people also ask questions that we got from the internet and then created the answers. Our AI assistant or our chat buddy created those answers for us. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to publish that. And what we'll do is we'll go back to Google Search Console, and here you can see 100 pages have been indexed, but we're focused on the ones that haven't been indexed, which is just 10. And this is for a variation or varying reasons, but we're focused in on the one that we have fixed or corrected or hopefully made better. UniverseUnriddled.com post how to get an asteroid named after you. We made those changes. We'll come back in a couple days and see if that has actually been indexed based upon the changes that we made. And then we'll keep trucking out to day 100. If you're having fun, if you enjoyed this one, give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments if you got any questions. Thanks for the support in this case study as we keep going here towards day 100. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.